Hello and welcome to CRI TV Beyond the Research. I am Dr. Janet Iduine Chimba, and today I have a very special guest with me. He is a stellar rice breeder in Ghana and globally. He was also the former Deputy Director of the Crops Research Institute, and he's currently the substantive director of the biggest institute under the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, the Crops Research Institute. He's popularly called the Star Rice Breeder, and is always so smartly dressed. Frankly, my guest today needs no introduction, but he is in the person of Professor Maxwell Darko Asante. Prof, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Janet.
And thank you for joining me for the
conversation.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
By God's grace, very well.
And I also said he's always smartly dressed. Prof, you look very lovely.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Prof,
I try.
Yes, you do. You certainly do. Okay, Prof, let's start at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Everybody's interested to know who exactly Prof. Asante is.
Yes.
Where he grew up, how was his upbringing like,
yeah.
and then his educational background. So tell us all the tea.
Yes. So I am a humble Ekwapim boy. I'm from Mamfi Ekwapim, but I was born in Mampung. That's just the next town, because that's where the big hospital is. Yeah. So if you check my passport, is Mampung Ekwapim, but I'm actually from Mamfi. And I grew up at Ekropong Ekwapim. So Mamfi is between Mampung and Ekropong. Ekropong has a very popular school, Kwapmai School. So my dad was a long-time school teacher. In fact, a very popular school teacher. Those of you who are from Okwapimai, immediately you mention Asasi J, everybody knows him. Yeah, so we stayed on Okwapimai campus and we grew up there. So I attended Okwapimai Primary and then Okwapimai Secondary School. Those days it was O-level and A-level. So I attended my O-level 1 to 5 at Okwapimai School. And then those days, all the best science students, everybody wanted to go to Presec. For sixth form, from Kwaboche, Augustine's, Prempe, everywhere, all the best students came to Presec.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and the government had a program to establish a science college at Presec. So the sixth form was almost like a university, where we stayed in our individual rooms with a pair in a room and stuff like that.
So you are not that year?
Yes, so I did the sixth form at Presec. Yes, and then I went to the University of Cape Coast.
But Prof, I want to delve a little bit into Presec. How was it like? How different was it from Okwapimai?
Well,
because you have the gentle or that charisma.
Yes, but that year's sixth form was something else. Okay. As I said, it was like the creme de la creme. All the topmost students from the top schools around the world, around Ghana, yeah. Even big schools like in Fansipim, Ogasco, Prempe, all their best science students came there. And we even have ladies, even though it's a boys' school, we even have ladies in sixth form.
Wow.
Yeah, so all the best science students from Wegehe and all the other big schools came. Yeah. Yeah, so it was a good experience, but very challenging, because you had students who after O-level just did A-level privately. Immediately they finished, they started classes for A-level. So before they even came, some of them have tried writing it. So it was virtually, when the teacher is teaching in class, the guys know everything already.
Wow, that could have been taxing.
So it's very different from Okwapimai, where you go along with your teacher. These guys had gone terms ahead of the teacher. So it was tough for those of us who were not brought up that way.
Wow.
But we survived. It was a good experience. Yeah, Presec is a good place.
Yeah.
In terms of academia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were telling us about University of Cape Coast.
Yes. So I now went to University of Cape Coast to do agric. At that time, agric was one of the best courses. Yeah, I'm told that these days not many people want to do agric as such, but it was one of the best courses. So I did agric at Kivas. I also had the same course at Legon, but my dad was a UCC alumni, and he encouraged me to take the Kivas option, and I don't regret it.
Yes.
Because at that time, any course you do in Cape Coast, you also do a diploma in education. So you go for classes for your main course during the day. Then in the nights, you are also doing a course for a diploma in education alongside. It was quite taxing for those of us who do agric. So there were semesters where I did 11 courses. Yeah, you finish classes in the agric lecture, you go to the farm to do something, and then in the evening you go to the school of education.
I can't imagine.
To do your diploma course. So I have a degree in agriculture and a separate diploma in education.
Impressive.
Yeah, so it was a good place, and it was a good place at that time. Cape Coast was not very open, unlike Accra and Kumasi. So all you have to do is to concentrate on your studies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was quite good. We really concentrated on our studies, and on top of that, I made very good friends there, and I also found a wife there.
Oh, that's one of the most important.
Yeah, so that's for Cape Coast, and then so I finished the first degree. I entered in '93 and finished the first degree in 1998. I used 5 years for first degree because the lecturers went on strike for almost a year. We call it the Harry Sawyer break. They had a problem with government. So we used 5 years for first degree, and then I came to CRI to do my national service.
Before we go into the CRI bit, I'm interested in knowing more about your upbringing. Tell us, how was it like?
Yes, so as I said, I grew up at Okwapmai campus. Yeah, so it was a campus atmosphere. But my dad was a very strict person.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so a teacher, a classical teacher, was very strict. So you are not allowed to do certain things. You are not allowed to wear a certain haircut. You are not allowed to wear a certain shirt. Yeah, so that's the kind of atmosphere we grew up in. And then those days, everybody has to do a garden. It was common those days. And when you were in a secondary school campus, your bungalow is, you have about maybe half an acre or something around your bungalow before the next bungalow. So we did a lot of farming with our dad. Yeah, and I was the only boy in my family. I have a lot of sisters. I had some cousins who are male, and they also joined us. So we did a lot of farming at our backyard. And we even reared animals. Yeah, even piggery. We did piggery on campus because there was a lot of space you could use. Yeah, so that's what we did. And then my mom is the entrepreneur type. So on the campus too, he sold all kinds of things, like the gari, sugar, bananas, all kinds of things to the students. So we also help our mom in her business. So I know how to fry granite and tie it the way they tie it in rubber, and then we sell it. Mom was selling everything, but she was also a teacher. She was also a primary school teacher, and then she did that as a side job. So our growing up was quite good. We grew up in a very serene atmosphere on campus. Yeah.
And Prof, would you say that your upbringing has contributed to the path you have in life?
Yes, definitely. So as I said, Dad and Mom showed us how to be focused and disciplined. Yes, and I've seen that in life, that you can be the most brilliant person if you are not disciplined, you are not focused, you will not go very far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think it's something that really helped us. And then also, because of all the things that we did, you are not allowed to be lazy. So laziness is not part of us. So in the end, if you are not lazy, you can achieve something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Prof, I'm curious. You talked about having a farm and a garden.
Yeah.
So, were you one of those people who, right off the childhood, knew that I wanted to go into research and rise research as that, or you just stumbled into it?
Not really. So at that time, all the best science students, everybody wanted to do medicine. I think it's still even there. Yeah. So it's something that I think our socialization brings it up. So yeah. So initially, everybody wanted to go to medical school, but then you even get a good grade, and it's very competitive. So you can lose out on the way. So we are all disappointed medical students, but I'm very happy that I didn't go to medical school. So I think by providence I found myself in this atmosphere. But I think when I was doing my first degree, my best course was plant breeding.
Wow.
Yeah, so but my mates used to complain that they didn't understand the course, but I had easily an A in plant breeding. Yeah, so it is something I enjoyed right from my first degree. Yeah, so from first degree, I was intentional about it.
Pursuing the career.
Yeah.
Okay, Prof, I want us to walk through your journey at CRI.
Yeah.
So how did you come into it, and how has it been so far? Just walk us through the process.
Yeah, so as I said, I completed my first degree in 1998. So I came here for my national service. Yeah, and at that time I worked under the former director, Dr. Stelanian.
Okay.
Yes, she's also another very disciplined, focused person. So by God's grace, after my national service, so I did national service 98 to 99, but I was absolved in January 2000.
January 2000.
Yeah, so I've been an employee of CRI for 25 years.
20. Wow.
Yeah, if I had national services, it's almost close to 27. 26, 27, yeah.
But
so that's how I
want
got
to
here.
pick your thoughts on it. When you worked here as a service personnel, did it ever occur to you that you would be the director of this institute?
No, I never thought I'll become the director of this institute. In fact, as a service personnel, I did not even know whether I was going to be absolved, even though I wanted to work here. Yeah, so that's what happened. It never crossed my mind. But when I started my work under Dr. Enin and had the opportunity to do my master's and came back, everybody who knows me knows that I'm always quiet in my corner, focus on my work and just doing my work to the best of my ability. So that is what has brought me this far. I didn't set a target to become the director. I just decided to work hard and do my best. And then by providence.
Okay, so 25 years is a long time.
Yeah.
This even excludes service.
Yes.
So can you tell us some of highlights of the achievements because you worked through the ranks?
You mean personally?
Personally, your work as well.
Yes. So I think the first thing I did when I was doing national service is that those days there were no computers around. Yeah. So when I came, there was one computer within our division. And I think maybe even in the previous years, it was even worse because I had come and they had data from as far back as 1992 that they have not entered on a computer yet. That is the agronomy. Those days, I think we call it agronomy division. So one of the first things that Dr. Enin and Dr. Harrison Dapa gave me is to enter that data. So I entered a lot of data, data that we have collected, agronomy, a lot of data on agronomy. Yeah, crop rotation and fertilizer trials, a lot of solid work. So I entered all that data as a national service person. So I was mostly working on entering data, and I believe it was a good thing, because then I learned how to analyze the data. And then from there they were also able to publish some of the work that they had done, and it resulted in their promotion. And those that I had worked with, they all became very big before they left. So Dr. Asafoji was the head of division. He became the director. Dr. Stalinin, whom I work directly with, also became a director. And then Dr. Harrison Dapa left along the line, but he became a VC of UNE.
So, so to speak, your mentor sort of paved the path for you to realize that you could even be bigger than you were.
Well, yes, I think yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So, Prof, tell us more about your rice research, the successes you've chalked.
Yes. So I was coming there. Then, so this is what I did mainly during national service, and then after that. So then I applied to go to school and do breeding. I told you I fell in love with breeding. So at that time I scouted around, and I saw that they say phosphorus use efficiency was a problem in soybean.
Okay.
So on my master's application, I said I'll work on phosphorus use efficiency in soybean. But then before the interview, Dr. Dati, who is my predecessor, he also worked and he has retired. I didn't know him very well, because his office was in Kwadaso. So he just told one of our friends, Alex Eduapia, that he has a rice project, and he's looking for a young guy who can do the work. So Alex told me about me, and then we met. And that very day, we went to campus to talk to the lecturers that we have a rice project on aroma and stuff like that we could do. But I had already applied. Only that I had applied thinking that I was going to work on soybean. Yeah, so that shifted me to rice, and
that is grace, right?
And then they say the rest is history.
Yeah.
So I worked with Dr. Dati. Well, we did some of the first rice crosses in Ghana. Yeah, so they had worked. Dr. Mankwetia and co and staff, Dr. Bam and co had tested a lot of rice, but they were all from the CG centers. We were not making our own crosses. So it was around the time I was doing my master's that we made some of the first rice crosses in Ghana. And those are the ones I used for my master's, studying grain quality traits like fragrance, because we know we like fragrant rice, and grain length and grain. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of work, because Dr. Dati, anybody who has worked with him, he's almost like a slave driver. Okay. You will not sleep. He wants you to be around. So during my master's, even midnight, I'll be counting rice, and people were wondering what I was doing. Yeah, so that was all happening. So within 2 years, I had finished my master's. I started 2002, and I finished in 2004. And then immediately I saw an opportunity on the net.
Before you continue, did you name any of your rice after Dr. Dati? You have an interesting name for your rice. Can you tell us a little bit about
so
them?
one of our rice varieties is named after Dr. Dati. In fact, he made that cross himself, but I selected it and tested it, and then named it after him. Yeah.
So which ones are your popular rice varieties?
Well, so now the ones that I led, the most popular ones are an apa and a japa, and you can infer what those names mean. Yeah, but the ones that I supported Dr. Dati and Dr. Bam to lead, like Agra and Amankwetia, are also still very popular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Prof, you were telling me about your journey after masters too.
Yes. So after masters, I had an opportunity for a program called Generation Challenge Program. Okay, they were. It was a program within the CGs. Okay, running on its own. So they floated this advert where they were looking for only 4 people around the world to give a travel grant to visit what they call the advanced institutions like Cornell and the big universities around the world. So and then you have to get somebody who was prepared to host you there. Then I remember that I had read about a certain Professor Susan Makush in Africa Rice annual reports. These days, you guys have it easy. Those days, you cannot even find things on the internet. You don't even have access to a computer. So you have to go to the library to read.
So Prof, are you one of the born before computers?
I wouldn't say I'm that old.
Okay.
But during our time, computers were not common.
Okay.
Yeah. So for example, when we did our first degree thesis, you had a computer center at Kivas where everybody has to go there, and a typist will type it, and then makes a lot of mistakes. They will put it on a disk, and sometimes the computer can crash and you lose everything, and it was that crazy. So yes, so that was what happened, and then I applied for this program, and I sent an email to Susan. She was a big professor at Cornell University. And if you know, Cornell University is one of what we call the Ivy League universities, top class universities in the US. And this woman was a big woman. He had made the first genetic map in rice. And actually, rice is, when you come to genetics, rice is a model crop. Okay. So if somebody has made a genetic map in rice, it means she was a leader in the whole world of molecular genetics. So I wrote to her. It was a few days to the deadline, and then immediately she responded. And then I was able to go there to do the laboratory part, the genetics. I don't want to be too technical. The genetics part of the work that I did for my masters. Oh, okay. So here we smelled the aroma, and we did which one has the aroma and which, and by that we were able to see that one gene controls the aroma. But then when I went to the lab in Cornell, I was able to locate that gene in the genome. Yeah. Okay. So it was more like a post-masters in a way. Yeah, and I think it was also a great experience for me. It opened up my worldview about what research is about, and then gave me a lot of very good networks, because Susan's lab was a good place with all kinds of people around the world, which still I'm in touch with some of them. So that one was also a great opening. Yeah,
Prof, I can see you really love research. How different is your role as director from your role as fully just a research scientist?
Wow. So the directorship at CSI and especially at CRI is very heavy on the classical administrative work. Yeah, because you are superintending over about 500 people, and there are all kinds of things that you have to solve. There are training, there are promotions, there are travels, there are projects, there are medical staff. So every 2 minutes, there's something that lands on your table, something new that lands on your table that you have to attend to. So it's very heavy on the administrative part of it.
But you still have to do research.
Not really, but the researcher in me will not go easily. So I still help the rice team and some of the breeders, but also more importantly, I'm very interested in bringing research projects into the institute. So that and that's very technical. So I still do a lot of research on that side.
Okay.
In terms of proposal writing, helping scientists to bring in money. Yeah, but the challenge with it is that your time is very limited because we are very heavy on the administrative side, and I'm trying to bring reforms to try to digitalize some of our operations and also try to make some of the processes more efficient so that I get more time to do more R&D related stuff, not doing it on my own, but supporting the scientists to do it.
So we are having a very interesting conversation here, but we'll hit pause and we'll take a commercial break. But before we do that, I want to acknowledge our sponsors for today's program. We have the Cottage, that is the #1 spot to get your fish farming training. We also have Famous Studio. If you want excellent videography, video production, billboard arts, and then graphics, you should go to Famous Studios. Also, we have the Wave Project. We also have the Digitalize Me Global Consult. They are also an IT consult solution. And finally, but not the least, we also have the Epsilon Graphics. So we thank our sponsors for sponsoring today's program, and then we'll be right back, so stay tuned. We are still seated with Professor Maxwell Darko Asante, and we are still having the conversation. Prof, so let's talk about your vision for the Institute.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you see Crops Research Institute getting to under your leadership, and how would you achieve that? Exactly.
So I want CRI to be a premier center of excellence in agricultural research in Africa. That if they are mentioning the top agricultural research institute in Africa, they should mention us. Yeah. And it's not a vision that is from me as such. The vision of the institute itself is what I have adopted. Okay. Yes. Okay. That we should become a center of excellence in agricultural research. So I have just added the premier and the African angle to it to make it more specific. Yes. So and it is something that I don't just say it, I mean it. Yeah. So in doing that, it's an R&D institution. So we have to have strategic investment in so that we are able to deliver the R&D. So that one is a whole mixed bag of issues that I can expand on. Okay. The other one, yes, the other one is that without money you cannot do anything. Yeah, so we also have to increase fund mobilization and also efficient use of our resources. Yeah. Okay. And then we have to enhance our corporate image, visibility, and technology dissemination, because there's no point coming out with technologies and you are not able to disseminate it. So it's also very important. And then, of course, you cannot do any good thing without your staff. Okay, so I'm reading a book by John Maxwell.
Okay.
It is on leadership. It says winning with people.
Prof, you took the wind right out of my sail. I was going to ask you a question on the book.
Yes, it says winning with people.
Okay.
So it just says that if you really want to do well as a leader, you really have to carry your people along. You cannot be a leader when the people are against you. So you really have to carry on. And then institutional reforms is also important. I told you how heavy we are in terms of administrative work. We can do much better. If we study our systems and take some of the redundancies away and able to digitalize some of the operation, it will free the management for us to support the scientists better in terms of the R&D. Yeah. So on the area of, if you want me to continue on the.
So, Prof, I'm very interested in the R&D.
Yes,
delivery.
yes, yes. So
can you tell me more about how?
Yes. So as I told you, it's just strategic improvement to enhance R&D. So there are many things that are put under that. So the first one is that we have to work more with commercial farmers.
Oh, okay.
And actually, that is from the strategic plan of CSIR corporate.
Oh, okay.
That within these 5 years, they want us to focus more on corporate people, industries. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because if you look at our history, we are focused more on subsistence farmers, peasant farmers. We are not abandoning them, but there's a growing commercial farming and industry, which we must work on to meet. So,
is that within our mandate?
Yes, it is. Okay. It is. So we really have to strengthen our partnerships with them,
Okay.
and the way I would do that is to pay learning visits to them, and to learn specifically their needs, and then find a way we could work together to give them tailor-made solutions to their problems. So that is a very strong thing that we would do, and it drives through my vision. Even when you come to mobilization of funds, you will see that I'm recommending that we ourselves begin to do commercial farming on our lands, because we have about 1,000 hectares of land scattered across the country. So if we ourselves are doing commercial farms, then we are able to advise them better, because you cannot be an expert in just small plots and then you are advising a big time farmer. Some of my farmers at Kasunya and Co, they are using drones already. So if you are still using knapsack, how are you going to advise them? Yeah, so it is something. So we will do that, and then of course we are still an R&D institution. So we have to upgrade our infrastructure. Okay. Modernize our infrastructure. Through the Crops to End Hunger project, we have had some good support in terms of equipment, but there's still more room for improvement. I talked about drones, very modern things that we can sit here and monitor our trials at Dawinya and all kinds of things. So that is also something that I think we should do. On the side of the technologies itself, we have to focus a little more on climate smart technologies. And I'm happy that a lot of the new scientists like you are focusing a lot of attention, because that's a big thing in the world now. But locally, we will not be able to convince any government that we are an institution worth supporting until we are able to prove that we are able to help them cut down on imports. So import substitution is also a big deal for me. So crops like rice, where we import about 50% of what we eat, using over $400 million. That's a lot of money for a country like Ghana. For tomatoes, where we import over $100 million, it's also so. Those ones we have to also pay special attention to in order to at least play our part and tell government that we have the varieties, we have the technologies. You have to put in place policies so that these things are produced on a mass scale, so that the imports can be stopped. Okay, so import substitution is also a big focus for me when it comes to R&D. But we don't leave food security out.
Okay.
There are plants that are indigenous to us, and they are very good food security crops, like cocoyam. It even grows in the wild. Okay, so those ones too, we would focus on them.
But
So
let's talk about the funds.
The
Funds.
yes. Well, for the funding, it's a big deal. Yeah.
Okay.
So government does well. They pay our salaries every month. Even in COVID, they did. But beyond that, we don't get any budget for our R&D work. So we have to write projects to get R&D. So I have instituted a new program where I call One Scientist, One Research Grant. Okay, so research proposal. Okay, in the US we call it grant proposal. Yeah, so because it's a grant that they are giving you. Yeah, so I believe that we can get a lot more funding from donors if we encourage our scientists to write more proposals. So that is the where I think we can get the most money, because I still think there's a lot of money around which you can. So that's the first one. We support the scientists. We have instituted that we will do courses to support them in proposal writing.
Okay.
So that they will be able to achieve that. But beyond that, we also have a lot of room for improvement when it comes to commercialization.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we do commercialization. We sell foundation seed and some seedlings and do a little bit of consultancy and stuff like that. But it forms just about 5% of our income. Yes, and I want, in the period of 5 years that I've been given as the director, to increase that to at least 15%.
Impressive.
And in doing that, we have to put in place a lot of things. So as I told you, we have a lot of land across the country. So we plan to do commercial farming on those lands. So digitalize commercial farming, because we don't have a lot of labor. So it will be very modern farms where we irrigate automatically. We do remote sensing, we spray with drones and stuff like that, so that we'll be able to, and those things for the commercial farms. I say we kill 3 birds with 1 stone.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll make some money, and then, as I mentioned before, our staff, both technicians, scientists, will get experience on how to work on commercial farms, because we have very good experience on our small plots. Yes. And then also we face a lot of encroachment on the land. So using the land, we'll be able to prevent or at least minimize that. Yeah. So those are some of the strategies we plan to use to get more funds for our work. And as I mentioned earlier, dealing more with industries, we are hoping that they will be able to sponsor some of our work. Yes, but based on where our economy is, I think our biggest source of funding will still come from proposals. So a lot of the scientists have a lot of work to do for the institute. But we are not neglecting the others. What we can generate from within, we'll also do that, as I've enumerated.
Prof, let's talk about the corporate image and visibility.
Yes.
I mean, this is one of the biggest institutes in Ghana, and has positioned itself over the years. But it seems like the corporate image is still not out there. So tell us about your strategies.
Well, so we generally have a good image with the people who know about us, but visibility is still quite low. Yeah, so we really have to work hard on those. So one of the strategies we are going to use is the technology parks. Okay. Right. We already have the technology parks in Fumasua, so we'll start from here, where at the middle of the year this year, we are going to invite a lot of players to come and see ready-to-go technologies. So yes, ready-to-go technology. But subsequently, my vision is that we'll have these kinds of parks on our outstations and across the country, so that people can see what we have, well labeled, and almost having things around the year.
Yeah, and very accessible.
Yes, for people to see it and associate with us, because as they say, seeing is believing. Yeah, so I think when we're able to do that, it will really help to improve our and in relation to that, I want to put in a strong monitoring and evaluation systems for our field maintenance. Okay, because the biggest challenge is that you don't go and put a field somewhere in Brongahavu and put CRI there and leave that field unmaintained. It'll how do I put it? You have X in your face. Yeah. Okay, because you are trying to show something good, but in the end, you have a bad image. Yeah. So far as we take the things to the field, we'll be very strong on M&E to make sure that our fields are always in the optimum phase, and then we're able to show our technologies in their best forms. Yes, and that is the least researchers can do.
Prof, will we have any technology park on the Clapham Ridge?
Not now, not now. But what we are planning to do is to try to use our outstations first. Okay. Yeah, we have about 8 outstations in Volta region, Western region, yes. But with time, we can adapt other places and put it there. It's an ambitious thing, but I think we should be able to do it. And then we do well on social media, but these days social media is everything. So we still have to push and do more on social media. And then
about also social media, you are very active on social media.
Yes.
You are on Facebook.
Yes.
I see you on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Are you on Instagram and Twitter? Like,
I'm on X.
X. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Prof is more advanced than I clearly am.
I'm on X and Facebook and LinkedIn. Yes. So social.
Would you mind sharing your handles?
Social media. I think I can get that for you later. Yeah, but I think it's a very good thing to use. It's a powerful thing to use in this modern age. Yeah, you cannot stay in your corner and be thinking you are doing your best. Nobody knows about it. So if you, as the scripture says, if you light a candle, you have to put it on a hill, so that people can see it. So I think social media is a powerful thing to increase your visibility. There was a time I put on social media that one of my master students is working on anaerobic germination in rice, and we had the collaboration from the UK.
Oh, okay.
Just that. So somebody just contacted me.
Okay.
And that they want to work on that. Yeah, so I'm leveraging on my own activeness on social media to take us to another level.
Very, very active.
Yeah.
And Prof, I'm sure I speak for all the viewers.
Yeah.
We want to know the staff well-being. What would be the strategy?
Yes. So staff speedy promotions. Yeah. So every staff wants to be promoted. Yeah. So we attend to their promotions speedily. For example, the senior members, it's quite taxing, but we do our best because they come with a lot of documentation. And we usually set 2 weeks, and all the reviewers have to bring their inputs. And then luckily for CSI, we have an online system which helps us too. So that will be. And then also we have a hunters policy which we will begin to implement. So every division and possibly if your head of division decides to give individual targets, we'll give you targets. But once you go beyond the targets, then you have a lot of money to share.
Okay.
Yes, but so it's not going to be free money. It's performance related.
But it's still money anyway.
Yes. So that people will be encouraged to do more. Yeah.
Any bonuses?
Of course, the bonus is related to performance.
Okay.
Yes, just like any other corporate organization do.
Definitely.
Yes, so it's based on performance. So yeah, so those are some of the things that we are going to. And then mentoring. We already have a formal mentoring system here, but we would enhance it. We would enhance it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is basically about the staff well-being part, yes, and I believe it.
But what about the reforms?
Yes, so the institutional reforms is very dear to my heart. Luckily, our IT people have come out with an app, a software they call CISO.
CISO.
Yeah, so we have already started using it for our leave and stuff like that, and I've told the administrators and the developers that we want to be able to fully use it. So if you look at my outcomes in my vision, I said 80% of all the things we do we should be able to do it in CISO within 2 years maximum. Because it will make a lot of difference. It frees management for us to do the major things that we have to do, dealing with the corporate people, dealing with government. Because if you are bogged down just signing stuff, you can't what if I want to add this?
And it's
So
even quicker for us.
you really it's quicker and everybody. So basically that's about the system. And also one of the first things I did when I became the director is to ask for an audit of our systems.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you realize already we have taken out some forms that were redundant. All the information is already on another form. Yes, we will continue to do that. Yes, so that we're able to improve the systems. But digitalization is the way to go. The digitalization is the way to go when it comes to systems improvement. So we'll continue to improve. It links up with data. Okay, and that one was even part of the R&D improvements because previously everybody works on his laptop, and when he retires, he takes the laptop away. No, all data belongs to the institute. Yeah, so. When I was deputy director, I drafted the data policy, which we are starting to use. So we'll save all our data. It's now nicely done with templates and stuff. So maybe at the end of the first quarter every year, everybody is expected to upload the previous year's data. Yeah, so we are finalizing that, and so that.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then also, so we have all our data in one place, and it makes the institute very powerful. You can always access the data. It will improve our publication record and all that. Yeah, and then also you don't come and repeat something that somebody has done already, because the data is available to you.
That's the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Prof, thank you for giving us a snapshot of your vision. But how far have you come along the vision?
Yes, so
Any
as you know, I just came in February. Yes, so we are starting to put in place a lot of the initiatives to be able to implement this vision. So as I said, on the system side, we have been able to take some things out already. On the side of the commercial farms, we already have a team that is working in the ground to advise me on the way to go about it. One of the big things that I left out is that I also think we must have a museum in this institute.
Absolutely.
To keep a record of the work that we have done over the years and our contribution to the national economy and even agriculture in the world. So I went to a place as far as the Philippines, and I saw one of our flagship maize varieties of Atampa.
Wow.
Was grown in the Philippines, yes.
Wow.
I saw it with we say naked eye, my eyes.
Wow.
Yes, so we have contributed a lot, but there's no museum where the record is kept. So it's an ambitious project, but I'm trusting that we can build a whole new center where we have a history of our contribution, a very modernized center where where the products are available, they are there. Where they are not available, you have pictures, and then there's a lot of information. You click a button, and it shows you all. You studied in Japan.
Yes.
We have these things.
Interactive.
Yes, interactive stuff. Yeah. So, and then I see that we don't even have, when people even visit Kumasi, they don't have too many places to go. So I plan to work with the regional administration and the Ghana Museums Board, so that it actually becomes a tourist center.
Wow.
And possibly we can make some coins out of it as well. So it's an ambitious thing, but I'm trusting that we'll be able to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is really, 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 really ambitious.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Prof, we'll take a break and then we'll come back shortly. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We are still with Professor Maxwell Darko Asante, the director of the CSIR Crop Research Institute, Ghana. Prof, now let's talk about the technologies. It's a mandate of the institute to develop demand-driven technologies.
Yeah.
So I know a lot has been done. Can you lead us to some and tell us the impact it would have on climate change?
Yes, so we are very big. This institute is known for developing crop varieties. So I think we are one of the institutes that have developed the most crop varieties, even in Africa. Okay. Yeah, so across cereals, legumes, root and tubers, vegetables, we have done a lot in that area. But you know that the environment keeps changing. Yeah, so sometimes you cannot you cannot use a variety that was developed 30 years ago in a different climate, in the current climate. So that is why we must continually come out with better varieties. New strains of diseases, the environmental things have changed, the soils have even changed. So we really have to be able to develop more varieties for the current environment. But we go beyond the varieties. We in general, we have technologies associated that goes with the varieties.
Okay.
And that's nutrient management, water management, weed management, disease management, pest management. So we have technologies in all these areas, and we continue to even to develop better technologies. So in the area of climate change, as I mentioned earlier, we would also focus on more climate smart technologies, because in the world today, sustainability is a big word. Okay, so you can produce something and have a lot of production, but it's not sustainable, and the future generation will suffer. Yeah, so all our technologies must also be sustainable, so that we are able to make sure that we live a healthy earth, a healthy environment for the future.
Prof, a lot of statistics have shown that it's agriculture that actually contributes to the greenhouse gases.
Yes.
What strides is the Institute making on that effort?
Yes, so that's what I tried to say earlier, that we are really focused on climate smart technology. So right from the breeding of the varieties. So for example, some of the rice varieties I have bred is nitrogen use efficient.
Oh, okay.
And you know, nitrous oxide is one of the big
Biggest
contributors to the greenhouse gases. Yeah. And then also many of our scientists like you are involved in testing of technologies like biochar and all that. So there's a lot going on. And actually, I dare to say that this institute is becoming one of the leaders in climate smart technologies. Many of our young people are focused on that area. Yeah.
Prof, you mentioned briefly about the parks and the open day.
Yes.
Will you be showcasing the new instruments, the greenhouse gas equipment? Tell us more.
Yes. So on the open day, we are leveraging 3 parks.
Okay.
The Irish Park, where we mainly the crop and the associated technologies. But the ACA Park is mainly climate smart technologies. And luckily, we have had some new equipment that is able to measure methane and stuff like, which I'm very happy about. So we'll be showing that, and we are hoping that we will get the ministers here, the Minister of Science, the Minister of Science and Technology, even the Ashanti Regional Minister, to see the great work we are doing here in becoming a leader in climate smart technologies, and for us to support the ones that the donors have not been able to give us. The government should be able to help. Yes, so we'll take the opportunity to show all that we have.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any tentative dates we have in mind?
Yes, so we are tentatively last week of June to first week of July. Around that time, our fields will be at its optimum level, and then we'll be able to show it to the world.
Okay. So the director has spoken tentatively last week in June, first week in July. There will be an open day at the CRSIR Crop Research Institute, and we are going to show our full color. All our technologies are going to be on display. So join us then, last week in June or first week in July.
Yes, so as the time gets closer, we'll come back to them on the specific dates.
Okay.
Yes, but it's an open day, so it will be open to everybody. And we will specifically invite them.
And the viewers will show up for their grandeur.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. So, Prof, I'm very curious about this. In your inaugural speech, you touched on the National Research Fund. You were very passionate about it.
Yeah.
Can you throw more light into it?
Yes, so a National Research Fund has already been established, I think as far back as 2020, if my mind serves me right, yes. But it has not been operationalized, yeah. So I use the opportunity to call on the government to operationalize it. It's very important to dedicate a part of our national resource, no matter how small it is, to R&D. Because, we have a lot of issues as individuals, but we pay tight. So you cannot say that you are dealing with issues with electricity and water and things. So R&D is a more long-term strategic thing. So you will not know. You will be left behind. In fact, it is the investment in R&D that will eventually help you solve your problem in a much cheaper way. Yeah. So our governments have to understand that, and I think they do. So we'll continue to push so that it's done. Yeah.
Okay. So, Prof, there's a little birdie told me that aside from you being the star breeder, people on the low-key refer to you as the equipment master and king. Okay. So during your tenure as the deputy director and throughout your career, you have been very instrumental in bringing in a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
And then you even brought in the Crops to End Hunger initiative. Yeah. Tell us more about it and what did you garner and how would it help?
Yes, so I'm very big on equipment and infrastructure because my belief is that for an organization where the government takes care of our salary, if we're able to get equipment and infrastructure, we should be able to do a lot of work. Yes, even with small operational funds. Yes, so it didn't start when I was deputy director. I've always believed in that. Okay. So you can see the big rain-out shelter just at Pakusu Gate. Yes, I brought it there. Ooh. And it's the only rain-out shelter in Ghana. Ooh. Yes, for drought. Wow. For drought trials. Yes. Okay. And then the crop to end hunger. I was lucky to be the focal person, and we have brought in a lot. So we have rehabilitated our legumes barn. Okay, so we have a modernized work area with a lot of equipment in there. So we have a common facility with seed counters, moisture meters, all kinds of things. Even the one that you are running for the soil testing kit. Or that we have something we call a harvest master where you can take to the field. It does all the measurements, moisture level right in the field, so that you can turn around your data very fast. Because especially when you are doing breeding, breeding is about cycles. Okay, so if you are able to turn around your cycles very fast, you are likely to make more impact in the field than somebody who is doing one cycle per year. And this equipment helps us to do maybe 2-3 cycles in a year, so that we can do. And then of course we had tractors, plows, harrows. So the crop to end this thing has been very beneficial. The icing on the cake is that they gave us a brand new cold room.
Oh, okay.
Which is solar powered, and I'm very happy about it because we are virtually not spending any money. It's very efficient. It just uses the solar directly during the day, and then in the night there are batteries that power the room. And cold rooms are very important for an institution like us because the products, our main product is the seed. So the seed has to be maintained in a way that does not lose its viability or its germ. So it's been a wonderful support for us. So just last week I was in Kenya for the CG science meeting, and I was on a panel with them. We discussed the whole Crops to End Hunger project on a panel discussion, and the GIZ, the German government supported us, and we thanked them for that. And I really made them know that the infrastructure support is a game changer, and asked for more.
Yes. So it's a continuous initiative.
Yes. So under the new CJR portfolio, I think the German government will still help the NAS and the CGs to be able to improve our infrastructure. That's the only way we can modernize and be more efficient in coming out with our technologies. Yes, but I'll use this opportunity to call on all staff to make sure that we are maintaining these things very well. I nearly forgot the biggest investment from the crops to that's the irrigation.
Yes.
They are giving us a modern sprinkler system covering 28 hectares, and it's very good when we're able to use it, yes.
So, Prof, there's an unprecedented initiative, the wheat project.
Yes.
Can you throw more light on it? I mean, some years back, we wouldn't even believe that wheat could be.
Yes, so wheat is generally known to be a temperate crop. But luckily, scientists around the world have been able to come out with more or less tropical type. They are tolerant to high temperatures. Yeah. So we have tried it for about 2 years now, and the result is very promising. So now officially, wheat is a mandate crop that we are working with, and head office has approved it.
Okay.
Yes. So hopefully in the next 1.5 years, we should be able to come out with wheat varieties. And for wheat, we really have to work with the industry. Yeah, because unlike maize, where small-scale farmers will just plant it and go and put it on Techima market and sell, wheat is you have to process it to bread, and so we really have to be strategic to bring in big-time players so that they lead the production, and then you use the small-scale farmers as outgrowers, if need be. So we are very happy about that.
But why was there a need to bring wheat into the mandate?
Well, so as you know, we eat a lot of bread, okay, and when this Ukraine, Russia, the wheat price, if I am right, went up maybe some 3-4 times. Yeah. So if it's something that is possible to grow in Ghana, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, then we'll be able to be at least not so much dependent on what somebody brings in. Even if we are able to do 50% of our wheat needs in Ghana, it saves a lot of foreign exchange. The money stays here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prof. With all the headways that we are making in this discussion with Prof, we can tell that Csir-Crops Research Institute is positioned to indeed become the premier institution of excellence. I don't know if I got that right, but Prof will correct me after the break. So then we are going for a quick
premier
commercial.
center of agricultural research in Africa.
Okay, Prof said it better than I could. Okay, so then we'll go for a quick commercial break, and then we are still thankful to our sponsors, the Cottage, Famous Studios, we have the WAVE project, then we have the Digitize Me Global Consult, and we have the Epsilon Graphics. So we are very thankful for sponsoring this project. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Back again. We are still having an insightful conversation with Professor Asante. Prof, so let's talk about national issues tied into the Institute. So President Mahama has launched the Feed the Country initiative, and it's very important. I think it's laudable. How is it going to benefit the country, one, and then how are we positioning ourselves as an important and biggest institute? Yes,
so he mentioned two major ones that falls into our domain. Yeah. The third one is on poultry, so it will fall into the domain of our sister institute, Animal Research Institute. But the ones that he mentioned that falls into our domain is schools. That they are encouraging schools to have school farms.
Yeah.
Okay. And also individuals to have, especially vegetable gardens in their backyard, which I think is a good initiative. But they have to link it with research. Yes, so that is my appeal to them. So for example, for tomatoes, we have new varieties of tomatoes. So if you are saying people should grow tomatoes in school gardens and in their backyards, and all that they are doing is still to buy imported seed, we are still sponsoring people outside. Yeah. So the linkages with the local research institutions and local industry in general has to be strong. So that I'm going to go to them.
Okay.
That for example, we have new tomato varieties which are good. So within the system, they can support industry players. One of the challenging things to commercialize is to commercialize vegetable seeds. They are very tiny, they are difficult to work with. But so once the researchers have done the work, we have to support private sector to take it up. So within this same program, they can support private sector. We will give them technical backstopping. They will produce the seed, and the seed goes to the schools, goes to the individuals. So the whole chain begins to work, and the money stays in Ghana rather than supporting other people's countries. So that is one aspect that they should do. And the technical backstopping that I talked about. We can do technical backstopping for the schools, especially. Yeah. And then they are talking about institutional farming. Okay, they are talking about prisons, national service, and things. We are also in a position to do institutional farming because, as I said, crops alone, we have about 1,000 hectares of land, which is substantial. So we are also going to go there and work with them so that we also do some of the farms. It's actually already part of my vision, as I mentioned to you. We are going to make it mechanized, modernized. So beyond the fact that it is an institutional farm that contributes to food production, it is also going to be a model farm where they can bring in other people to get trained. The agricultural science teachers, all kinds of people in the value chain. Because if you read the strategy very, very well, they want everybody to be involved so that we stop importing food. Yes, anything that we can produce here, either produce it in your backyard, produce it in your school, produce it in your institution. And you cannot do that without an institution like CRI. We can give you the seed, we can give you technical backstopping, we can help with the production, we can help with training. Yeah, so it is something that we are going to give them a paper on.
But how different is this initiative from Operation Feed Yourself?
So yes, well, at Champon, I was then young anyway. But I think they are linking it up because it was Operation Feed Yourself is more like take control of what you eat. So do it in your backyard. So that's why they are related. They are relating it to this. But they are also talking about agribusiness and stuff. So it's an upgrade. Where they not just think about satisfying your home and the institution, but at the national level to what are we doing to ramp up production so that we stop importation of things that we can produce here. And that fits directly into my vision. You remember I talked about import substitution for tomatoes, rice and stuff like that, and the commercial farms as well. So we work with them.
Okay. So, Prof, look in the camera and give your passionate appeal to the government. If you had a pitch, a 1-minute pitch.
Yes. So, government of Ghana, CRI Crops Research Institute, your own R&D institute, we are prepared to partner with you on the Feed Ghana program that the president has just launched. Okay. We are we have the capacity to give technical backstopping on advising you on varieties of all the crops that will do well. Yes, they even talked about greenhouse farming. You you need advice on that, because it's not all the varieties which survives in greenhouses. Okay, so we're able to do that. We're able to support the schools. We also have varieties of vegetables. I want you to support us and the private sector to come together to produce certified seed, so that all this seed that is supposed to be grown by individuals in their backyard and in the schools will be locally produced. Okay. Beyond that, we are also able to support in the commercial farms, and ours will be a model farms where you can even bring people to trade. So we are hoping for business, as President Mahama himself said, and we will be working with you on this great initiative.
Thank you very much, Director. Director says Crop Research Institute is open for business. Okay. Thank you very much. So, Prof, you're a very astute researcher. You have 25 years and more under your belt.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Prof, we want to know how you would advise early career scientists like myself. And then how can we contribute?
Yes. So, the first thing I would say is that when you come out of your PhD like you have come, you come with a lot of fresh ideas, a lot of energy. It is a very good period to establish yourself. And the way to establish yourself is to be able to get a project and get experience in running projects and developing technologies. Okay, so you need that. Unfortunately, the institute should have had some funds for early career scientists like you, but it's tough. So what we do is to help you to be able to write grant proposals like you have done, and to be able to implement those projects. But once you win projects and you implement it, projects brings more projects. Yeah. So your early days is very, very important. Focus is very important. And then in your early career, I dare say that don't be so much driven by money. Okay, focus on getting the experience. Focus on doing the work, and the money will come later.
The money will come later.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes. So, for example, a bright person like you can easily be sidetracked with an offer from a place, which is maybe a little higher than your salary, but all the potential that you have will not be expressed at that place. You'll be stuck in some routine work, in some small space that you are much better than, and the country will not benefit so much from it. So please, you just analyze opportunities very well, and don't be too focused on money. Yeah. Yes. Beyond that, I would say that learn to work in teams, because you cannot do it alone. Especially research is tough. You cannot do it alone. And learn to, when I say teams, it's not only your colleague scientists, but also your technicians, even your laborers. And learn to listen to everyone. So some of the things ideas that I have been able to implement have come from laborers.
Okay.
Yes, who will say, oh, look, I think we should do it this way. And it works. I think we should take this experiment to this place. I think I'm in the field all the time, and this side is better. So you really have to be humble and also learn, even from laborers. Yeah. Yes, but for a modern scientist like you, what I'll add is that try to be visible.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can be good. If you are not visible, nobody knows about you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a very competitive world, and the opportunities around the world. So if you don't create visibility for yourself, and nobody can do that for you. And there are many platforms to now do that. Be on Facebook, be on X, be on LinkedIn. Attend conferences when you have to. Sometimes There are even conferences in Kumasi, Accra, and scientists are not attending. I don't know what they are using their time for. Yeah, so be involved, and I think when you do that, I think what I'll add is also integrity. Yeah, so you have to be also careful the way you live your life, because as scientists we run projects, we do a lot of things. So and it's a very small world. So make sure you are achieving your deliverables, accounting for the money very, very well. Because once a donor blacklists you, it goes around, and it becomes very difficult for you to make progress. And actually, even appointments, if you want to move, it becomes, because it's a very small world. I'm telling you, I can assure you that this world is very small. You meet somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. When I went to Kenya, there are many people in my network in Cornell who know somebody I also know somewhere. So you really have to live a life of integrity, especially when it comes to your R&D, achieving the deliverables, and making sure you are using the money well. Yeah.
Thank you. We are having a very interesting conversation here.
Yeah.
Prof said you have to have integrity, you have to be visible, and also you have to be able to bring in funds as a young researcher. And then, yes. So Prof, let's talk about the challenges. You have come into the leadership role for CSIR,
Yes.
Crop Research Institute, as a director. Yeah. Are there any challenges that you are facing?
Yeah, the biggest.
How can what are some of the proposals to solve them?
Yes, the biggest one is, of course, funding. Yes, so we virtually have no operational funds of our own. Yeah, so as you have an operational funds, for instance, for young researchers like you from the beginning, at least give you some $10,000 to start working with. But that is not available at the moment. So in terms of the funding, I mentioned some when we were talking about my vision. So that's why I've tried to introduce one scientist, one grant proposal, because as of now, the grant is still our biggest bet when it comes to funding. So we'll be very aggressive in trying to attract donor funds. At the same time, we work with the industry in Ghana to also help them and also encourage them to invest in our activities. We also still talk to government to see the need to give us funds for R&D. So donor projects, commercialization, and also hopefully government support would also increase when it comes to the funding. The other one is infrastructure. We have a lot of deteriorating infrastructure, especially in our outstations. Yeah, so we really need to work on that, and it's eventually it comes back to money. Yeah, so but we also seek for support from sources that we know, so that they can help us to improve, like the Crops to End Hunger that we have used to improve a lot of infrastructure. We look for those opportunities, and also hopefully along the line we should be able to do some PPP, private public partner initiatives, especially on some of our outstations, so that they use some of the land with us, and then together we'll be able to use the money to improve those stations. Okay, so I think when we can do that for the infrastructure. On the side of R&D, I think we are doing a lot, but we can still improve. Yes, especially in the area where we have to help government to do import substitution. We do a lot, but I think until we stop importing things that we can produce in Ghana, we have not won the fight. Yeah, so we'll do that. We have to do a lot more. The challenging climate change situation. Last year, from Ejura onwards to the north, a lot of people just lost everything that they grew.
Yeah.
So we really need to bring in more climate resilient varieties and technologies to mitigate against climate change. And luckily we have the technology parks around which we are working on those. And then on the side of our impact, okay, you know, we are a development R&D organization, but we are also an academic institution. So our publications is very important for us to have that level when they are ranking institutions globally. Many of the young scientists are doing very well with the number of publications, but we have to do better into going into high impact journals, and also getting higher citations. Yeah, so I'm going to institute an award. Luckily, our Research Staff Association always has already instituted an award for the most publishing scientists. But mine is the one who is able to put it in the highest impact journal. And then also the publications that get the highest citations during the year.
That's going to be me by the way.
That is very important, because you know something. You know, one of the most prestigious organizations that ranks academic institution, the Times New, they now rank University of Cape Coast as the leading university in Ghana.
Wow.
And even West Africa. But you know, Legon, when you check the data, has about 3 times more publications than UCC. But UCC is getting into more higher impact journals. So it's not only about the numbers. It's also about the impact. Yeah. So I will encourage scientists to do that. The numbers are good, but we have to get into higher impact journal, and then we have to be able to push so that our papers get cited. Okay, and that goes beyond putting it in a high impact journal. You also have to show it. Show your papers in LinkedIn, on Facebook, push it to friends. If possible, you get a donor, publish open access, and all that. So we will have to work on that area, so that we are when international organizations are being called, we are there. Yeah, as people who are able to do work and do publications. So that's in the R&D space. I think we should also be able to do a little more work on basic science. Yeah, so in the past years, most of our donors have focused on the developmental part of the work. So something that we have developed, make sure it gets to farmers and things like that. But in the challenging world situation now, I think some of our scientists have to put in a little more effort on the basic science, because that is where everything comes. How do I put it?
The foundation of it.
Yes, the foundation of it, and the greatest breakthroughs. Yes, the game changing. That's the word I wanted. The game changing innovations come from basic science before you can commercialize it. Yes, so we have to put in a little bit more effort in upgrading our labs and stuff like that. So that you can improve.
Well, there's a lot of challenges. You have your work cut out for you.
Yes, I think so.
So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll get up close and personal with Prof. That's my interesting bit. Stay tuned. waiting for. We are getting very, very, very close with Prof. So, Prof, my first question, Prof, you have to relax and give us all the tea.
I'm relaxed, don't worry.
Prof, my first question is, tell us about your family. Tell us about your wife. How did you meet your kids? Tell us everything there is.
Yes, so I have 3 beautiful kids. So the first one is called, okay, so by the way, my kids have big names.
Okay.
So the first one is called Hephzibah.
Hephzibah, yes.
Yes, Hephzibah means the delight of the Lord. Isaiah 62:4. It means the delight of the Lord. But I named her after my mother, whom I love so much.
Oh, okay.
So her home name is called Ayao.
Ayao.
Which is a typical Ekwapim name. Yeah, so Hephzibah is in medical school now.
Oh,
so
okay.
she's at Komfanochi.
She's realizing your dream.
Yes. Yes, even though I didn't want that dream anymore.
Yeah.
It's good I didn't follow it. I don't even like that atmosphere they work in. Yeah, but she is at Komfanochi. So, and then Emmanuel comes after Hephzibah. He is also doing law. Yeah, so Emmanuel was also named after my dad. Yeah. And then the last one is called Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
Yeah, he is the last one, and he's about to write BC. So he was named after my in-law.
Oh, okay.
My wife's
father.
So his traditional name is Intim. Yeah. So basically, my wife is a banker. Yeah. She has worked with Barclays and now ABSA. For so many years, I think from 2001. And I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
About this ABSA.
Okay.
At the time the ABSA opportunity came, it came to me.
Wow.
When I was running up my national service here.
Oh.
And I was thinking, okay, I would get a job here. So I offered that opportunity to her, because somebody I knew from the fellowship we attended fellowship at Kivas, a Christian fellowship. So somebody linked me, and I said, we were not married yet.
But that's an investment in love, right?
we were not married yet, and she was a Cape Coast girl. So even going to Accra, she said she cannot go. So I have to go to Cape Coast to carry her to Accra, to carry her to the Barclays head office to do an interview there. And luckily she was taken. So maybe it was divine, because there were many men who attended that interview, but it's the lady that they picked. So maybe even if I had attended, they may not have picked me. Yeah, so it was something that came to me that I passed to her. So she has been working with Barclays and now ABSA since 2001, for a long time now, just like myself.
So, Prof, this is a special program.
Yes.
So a little birdie told me that you have a nickname for your wife, which is Bibi. Can you share?
So my wife, we started dating when we were in Kivas. She was a year after me. She was 2 years after me. Dark in complexion and very beautiful. So I call her Bibi. Yeah. And my friend, one of my very good friends, yeah, he's in Denmark now. He'll call me and say, "Hey, Kweku, is Bibi around?" So he's always the one shouting Bibi. Yeah.
So, Prof, tell us how you met. You said you met on campus.
Yes, we met on campus. So we all belong to the GAFES, Ghana Fellowship of Evangelical Students. When you come to KNUST, they call it IHF or something, but the mother organization is GAFES. And in Kivas, we use GAFES. So it's like the SU in the university.
Oh, so this is church love.
Yes, so that's where we met. After fellowship, we all walk the ladies to their halls. So we were praying and watching at the same time.
Yeah, very
And
important.
we'll be in scripture. We pray and watch. And actually, she was in the small prayer team with me. So beyond the bigger fellowship, we had a prayer team of the fellowship. And she was in the team with me.
So, Prof, I presume you were a very gentle, quiet and shy Christian fellow gentleman.
Yeah.
So how did you pop the question? Like, I could realize the sweat.
Well, I look quiet, but when I want to do something, I do it. So it was not that difficult for me. Yeah, so
How not difficult?
So we became friends. So she used to visit, I used to visit. So on one of the occasions where I was walking her back to her hostel, I told her that I want to marry her.
Guys, this is how simple and easy it is to do it. Just pop the question. I want to marry you.
But the story didn't end there. So I remember the date. That was like November 18th, 1997. Yeah. So and the funny thing is that it took 6 months for her to give me a response.
Yeah, she can't be that easy.
And her friends were worried that you lose this nice gentleman. But I think it was divine in a way. She had dedicated her life to do SU work, helping students on camp and things. So I think God wanted her to have a very tolerant person like me who just creates an easy atmosphere for you at home to grow and not worry you with petty things. So I think it worked. It worked well.
I'm glad it worked well.
Yeah.
You have a very beautiful family.
Yes, thank you.
So, what was the thought behind naming your kids after biblical figures or like iconic biblical names? Well,
so honestly, for my firstborn, one of my mentors as well, who is also a breeder and a pastor, he became a bishop. So I belong to the Methodist Church. He became a bishop in the Methodist Church, Professor Safo Kantanka. He preached a sermon with the name Hefzibah.
Oh, okay.
And I love the sermon and what it meant.
Yeah,
so that's where the name came from. And then the second one, I named him after my father. So he is called Emmanuel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my father was Emmanuel. Initially, I said my second born, I didn't want to give him an English name.
Oh, okay.
But strangely, when my wife was pregnant, Hefzibah's KG teacher, I've lost contact with her now. He said, your wife is pregnant again. He will give birth to a boy. Name him Emmanuel.
Wow.
And then I had already planned to name him after my dad, and my dad was Emmanuel.
Oh.
So it was a very strange coincidence. So I didn't hesitate at all. It was easy.
Wow.
So, and then once I started with the big Hefzibah, I was looking for another big name. So I think I love the name Melchizedek in the Bible.
Yeah.
So the high priest. So we call him high priest. Even though some of his activities are not high priest like. Okay. So yes, so that's then my friend told me that, hey Kweku, it's left with Zerubbabel. Then you.
Are we looking at having Zerubbabel?
No, now it's past.
Okay. All right.
I'll hand it over to you guys.
Okay. We are coming with Zerubbabel. We had it here first. Okay, so Prof, after doing all the directorship responsibilities, when you finally get home to your family, what do you do to unwind?
The funny thing is that I do not know how to watch movies.
Oh, okay.
If I'm watching movies, my wife has to be around to explain it to me.
Okay.
Because I find it difficult to follow movies. I'm the current affairs type. If you put me around CNN and BBC, you have Al Jazeera, you have gotten me.
From you unwind with news.
I unwind with news.
Wow.
And when I was in the US, I had a Black American family. So I visit them. I spend the weekends with them, and they have this TV channels all over, all kinds of things. Then they say, "Maxwell, which one will you watch?" I say, "Put it at CNN." They will start laughing. So, why will you use CNN to unwind? So that's what I love. And then
that's peculiar.
And then on a smaller scale, soccer. So,
soccer, okay.
Yeah. So I also watch soccer when I
From any team in particular. So give
in Ghana I support Kotoko. Yes. I'm a big Kotoko fan. But now everybody has a premier team. What do we call the English teams?
Yeah.
So that one because ACN went to Chelsea. I was a Chelsea supporter.
From here, way off. I mean, when you for life. Okay.
I was now they are not doing so well, but at the time of Drogba and things, they used to do quite well, yeah. So
okay, we'll take it, Chelsea.
Yes.
Okay. So, Prof, apart from that, do you have any hobbies? You must have a hobby. Not CNN.
the CNN is also a hobby, isn't it?
Something other than that.
Something I do myself.
Yeah.
It's crazy, eh? Well, so not so much. I love to listen to gospel.
Gospel.
Yeah. So I love listening to gospel. Yeah, so basically, when I was younger, I loved to play a little bit of football.
Okay.
Yes, but I had some football leg.
So what happened?
So many people see me and they say, you must be a star player.
Oh.
Yes, but it's crazy that in our days when you are doing science, they just make you lose everything else. You just have to concentrate on your studies. But I didn't really play football for a school team or something. But we used to play a lot of football on Okwapman campus and even hockey.
And hockey.
Yeah, because
that's a fancy one.
Yeah, we grew up on the campus. So basically, I love listening to gospel.
Okay.
And then also read books. And the Bible as well.
The Bible as well.
Yeah.
So you have to pick one fun hobby that you would tax yourself to do. So if you had to pick one, what would that be?
Oh, listening to gospel.
Fun.
That I do. Oh yes, that's
what you will do.
That I will do here.
No, so that you will learn to do a new hobby. That is
fun. A new hobby. Okay.
Not CNN.
Okay, that's what you mean.
Yeah. If you had to pick something fun that you could learn to do. Wow. Did you have any dream? Anything you want to learn?
Yeah, I would have loved to play golf.
Golf. Okay.
Yeah. I hope it's not too late.
No, never too late. Okay. All right.
So yes.
So Prof, you said you like gospel music.
Yes.
So what's your favorite gospel music?
One of my favorite music of all time is Ohima Messi, Ube Kese.
Ube Kese. Okay. Prof, don't sing it. That's your ending. Prof, don't sing it. Prof, that's how we are going to end the show. So please
So
don't...
somebody should play it for me so that I sing along.
Please take out and find the music. So. Okay. So, Prof, I want to find out. You took the wind out of my sail.
Yeah.
So not that book, but any other book that you've read this year or last year?
Yes.
But do you have a genre? Let me first ask if you have a genre of books that you like or you read across.
Yeah, so I love books on leadership.
Leadership.
Yeah, and then of course on breeding.
On breeding.
So there are nice books on breeding which are not textbooks.
Oh, okay.
It's really about the history of breeding.
Okay.
Yeah, but before you finish learning, you have also learned breeding, because there's a different way in which you understand breeding when you know about its history. So I love reading about the history of breeding and the big breeders like Norman Borlaug and what they did and what they won. Yeah. So
you are a stereotypic professor. You engage your mind. Your hobbies and pleasures engage your mind.
Yeah. So like there's a book, Norman Borlaug, the man who fed the world.
Norman Borlaug, the man
who fed the world. Okay. So it's mainly a breeding book, but he won the World Food Prize. He even won the Nobel Prize. And that's so I tell breeders that producing food can bring peace. So he won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Peace Prize.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah.
So Prof, a perfect day for me is to do absolutely nothing or the barest minimum. Okay. So what's a perfect day like for you?
A perfect day is just achieving all the things that I've put on my checklist.
Wow, stereotypic professor.
That's what makes me happy.
Okay, taking off your to-do list.
Yes, so I have a student thesis to check.
Okay.
I have to well, so some of it is family related. I have to call my auntie. I have to check on my sister. I have to check on some project somewhere. If I try to have a checklist every day, and that's one of the advice I'll give to young scientists. Don't come to office and not have a target. Okay. You will just be walking around, and
do you write it down?
Yes, and can stand at a place and easily chat for 2 hours. But if you have a checklist day by day, because you can begin to build castles in the air and have big visions, but what makes things work is what you do day by day. And time is everything. Yeah. So the other time I was quoting Otabel. He says one of the saddest things in life is to miss time, and time is about opportunity. Okay. So if you are supposed to become a principal scientist at the time where we are making a call for directorship, you know that the minimum is a principal scientist, and you are not able to meet that. You can miss that timeline by 1 day. You will not be qualified, and that's how important time is.
Time is, yes. So that is a very good one. Yeah. Time is very, very important. So, Prof, if you had to describe your life in a hashtag, what would it be?
Focused.
Absolutely amazing. Hashtag focused. Okay. Okay. So, Prof, your favorite food?
Well, my favorite food is body and PC asunsun. Do you understand that one? I'm already salivating. Okay. With nyadua and kobe and pear on the side.
Wow.
You have gotten me.
Okay. All right.
But I also love banku.
Okay.
And fufu. Because my friend is Allen. He cannot eat any other thing apart from fufu.
Okay. So, Prof, it's time to do the song.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So, as I said, yes, I don't know why I love that Ohima Mercy song so much, because I am a person who looks at the brighter side of life. Yeah, I don't like me those kinds of things. I like songs that encourages you to achieve your best. But this one too, I also love the tune, so I dance to it.
Okay.
So
Prof,
it is called Ubeye Kese. So Adunya mina wakanse Ubeye Kese ko si se mi be Ubeye Kese pa. Then you go Ubeye Kese ko si se mi be Ubeye Kese pa. It's a powerful thing.
Wow,
It's one of my best songs of all time.
Wow, that was an interesting one. Prof, you have a good voice. Have you considered the choir?
They say so. When I try to sing in church, they tell me I should have been in the choir. But I've never.
It's not too late. Okay.
If the burdens at Crops, I'm not sure I can go for rehearsal. So, okay. Are you playing it?
Unfortunately, we can't play it due to copyright issues.
Oh, okay.
So, Prof, your take-home message?
Well, in terms of the institute?
Any in the institute, personally, anything.
Okay,
you can
so
lump them all together.
Yeah, so I would encourage all of us to work hard to support my administration to move the institute to the next level. For me, everywhere you are, I believe that you have to take it a notch higher where you met it. Yeah, so I will encourage all of us to support. Okay, everybody should brighten his little corner. That's why I usually commend the IT group, Ben and his group, because when you give them a job, they take it a notch higher. And I told you guys that I recently did a master's in business school, and they taught us about job crafting. When they give you a job, you do it in a way that makes it better. Yeah. So I'll encourage all of us to craft our jobs to make sure we are brightening our little corner to take the institute to the next level. And also tell you that for me, position is really nothing to me if it's not used to achieve a purpose. Or to take the institute to, then I will not even take it. I think I can make more money than becoming a director, even as a scientist, than becoming a director. So it's about making an impact, and I cannot make an impact without the staff. So I appeal to all the staff to support so that we all work on this vision to take. I don't believe in magic, but I believe that anything that you take, you can take it a notch higher. And that is what I'll work hard to do with your support. So my take-home message is that please support to take this institute to the next level.
Yes, thank you very, very much. Prof says, please support to take the institute to the next level. We'll surely do that. Yeah. Prof, thank you so much. It has been interesting. It has been fun. And this has been a very, very insightful discussion. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We wish you the very, very best.
Yeah.
And then we look forward to seeing how far crop research would go under your leadership.
Great.
And to our lovely viewers, we are thankful for staying tuned with us for this interesting and all-invigorating conversations. And then we want to say a very special thank you to our sponsors. We have the Cottage. It's a premier location for studying fish farming and getting training in it. We have the Famous Studios. We also have the Wave Project. We also have the Digitize Me Global Consult. And then finally, we have the Epsilon Graphics. So we are thankful for your sponsorship. Without you, we couldn't have brought this program to life. Thank you so much. And then we also thank the technical staff. They have been amazing. The sets, and also the videography and everything. We are so grateful. So thank you so much. And then stay tuned. I'm Dr. Janet Edwina Chimbwa, and stay connected. Bye-bye.